we may have low vibrational habits that we aren't aware of. Now, humans are habitual creatures, and we spend most of our time running on autopilot, running off habitual unconscious programs. Now, we may have low vibrational habits that are keeping us in lower frequencies. And in order to raise vibration, we must become aware of them so we can make the changes. Because you can't change anything that you're not aware of. And so in this video, I'm going to share 5 habits that are lowering your vibration. So the first one is overconsumption. And this could be things like social media, the news, or junk food. Spending too much time scrolling social media or watching TV can disconnect you from the present moment. And this can lead to mental exhaustion, which lowers your vibration. When you scroll on social media, it can be so addicting that you could be scrolling and 2 hours have gone by and you don't even realize it. And this is because when you scroll and you see a video, you get a dopamine hit. You scroll to another video, you get another dopamine hit. You scroll to another one, another dopamine hit. And that's why you get so addicted and sucked into it. But what also happens is you end up getting an unnatural amount of dopamine hits that it leads you to feeling unhappy, low emotions, low energy, and so it puts you in a low vibrational state. Now, watching the news is 99% negative, right? There is all this fear that's going on in the news. Look at all the scary things in the world. Watching it is not going to benefit you in any type of way. It's just negativity that's going into your consciousness. And so think of it like protecting your consciousness and being mindful of what you're allowing in, keeping away from that negativity that isn't going to serve you. And eating too much processed food or junk food, like your gut is the second brain. What you put into your body affects your moods. So if you're eating crap food, it's just going to make you feel like shit, make you feel sluggish, which is going to make you feel low vibrational and just lack energy. So the key is to fuel the body with healthy, nutritious food, because this will just instantly raise your vibration. You'll feel a lot better. You'll have more energy. And so that's something I've been focusing on for myself, is really cleaning up my diet. So I'm eating a lot more, just fruit, veggies, meat, things like that. It's not easy for me though, because I've always been a sugar junkie and I'm a really good baker and I like to bake sweet treats. So I'm having to really try to cut back on sugar. And I do notice I feel better for it as well. Now, the second habit that lowers your vibration is comparison to others. Comparing your life, achievements, or appearance to others can generate feelings of inadequacy, jealousy, or self-doubt. Now, comparison is an ego behavior. So the ego mind, which most humans are operating from their ego minds, the ego loves to compare and compete with others. The ego also keeps us in the negative low frequencies. And so the other thing is realizing that we're all on our own unique journey. We've all been through different things. We've had different upbringings, different experiences. And because of that, it makes no sense to compare to others. Why compare yourself to someone else when they haven't had your experiences? They haven't had your upbringing. Even if it looks like they're doing better than you, it doesn't matter, because their journey is their journey and you don't know what their journey is all about. And your journey is your journey, and that's what you need to just focus on yourself and where you're going in life. And I would like to encourage you to, if you notice that you're comparing yourself to others, to remind yourself that this is just an ego behavior. It's just the ego that's wanting to compare, and that you don't have to feed into that. I find being aware of the ego and how it operates, knowing that it compares and competes and all this other negative behaviors that it has, by developing this awareness, I have found that my ego doesn't get to control me as much as it used to. because I can catch it out. I can catch my ego out. Oh, my ego's comparing right now. Stop comparing, ego. And I call it out for what it is. So I encourage you to do the same. Now, the third habit that lowers your vibration is holding on to grudges and anger. Clinging to anger and resentment towards others keeps you stuck in negative energies. I know all about this because I used to be a very angry person with a lot of resentment, holding grudges. I held a grudge with my own family for over 10 years. And it was because of how I was treated as a kid and the things I went through in childhood. But during those 10 years of holding that grudge, I was a very angry person, very negative, short-tempered, and it just didn't serve me. I also learned that clinging on to anger and resentment, like obviously it's going to lower your vibration, keep you in negative frequencies, but it also has been proven with science that it creates disease and illness in the body. And so hanging on to anger and resentment towards someone for whatever they did, it doesn't negatively affect them. It only negatively affects you because think of resentment as poison. You're storing this poison in the body that's going to make you sick. There was this analogy used by, I can't remember who said it, it might have been Dr. Wayne Dyer, talking about a snake bite. And he says, the bite doesn't actually kill you. It's the venom that gets into the body that ends up killing you. So think of the bite as the person that's hurt you in some type of way, but think of the resentment that you're hanging on to because of it as being the poison that's going into your body. It's only going to make you sick. And so, like I said, I held on to a grudge with my own family for 10 years. I went through the whole forgiveness process and learned to let it go. As soon as I did that, it freed me energetically. I felt so much lighter and just happier. It raised my vibration. I'm no longer as angry and short-tempered as I was. So it really doesn't serve you. I encourage you to just let shit go and forgive others. Now, the fourth habit that lowers vibration, and this is one that people may not even really be aware that they're doing because everyone is doing this, and that is suppressing emotions. Ignoring or bottling up feelings instead of processing them leads to emotional stagnation. Now, I suppressed so much in my childhood, and that's because I was like emotionally abandoned by my parents. So I didn't have anyone there to help me deal with my emotions, and I basically hid my emotions and just bottled them up. And that resulted in me becoming a very angry person. And I didn't really realize that I was suppressing emotions until I read the book Letting Go by Dr. David Hawkins. Now, this book's all about how we all have repressed and suppressed emotions in the body, and it teaches the letting go technique that you can use to start releasing these emotions. And so it's the repressed and suppressed emotions that keeps our vibration in low frequencies. Your vibration is naturally high. And I like to use the buoy analogy. So think of it like you have a buoy in the ocean, you push the buoy under the water, as soon as you let it go, it naturally raises back up to the surface. So your vibration works in the same way, but these repressed and suppressed emotions in the body is what weighs us down and brings our vibration down into these lower frequencies. When you start applying the letting go technique and start releasing suppressed emotions, your vibration will just naturally start to raise. And so the letting go technique is a very simple technique. Most people are resisting their negative emotions. I was resisting them, but I wasn't aware that I was doing that. It was almost like we kind of like just do it unconsciously because we're not really taught how to actually deal with emotions. And so what the letting go technique is instead of resisting the emotion, which is what we just sort of naturally seem to do, we accept it. And we allow the negative emotion to be there. So if you have a negative emotion come up, you're feeling negative, just accept how you feel, allow it to be there, be present with it. I like to close my eyes and just sort of tune into my body and just observe the emotion, observe the physical sensations in the body, And by doing this, you're allowing yourself to process the emotion. The emotion will end up running its course, and then it will clear itself out, and then it leaves you feeling lighter and more uplifted. So you know you've successfully let the emotion go when you feel more high vibe. That's the key. That's what you're aiming for. And so by doing this and using this technique, you're going to start releasing a lot of stored emotions in the body, one by one by one, because we have a lot. And I saw an analogy for this that was like, think of a tissue box, and you're just pulling tissues out one by one by one. It's the same idea. You're pulling the emotions out of the body one by one by one. And this is going to raise your vibration. So I encourage you to practice this technique. I have been practicing it myself, but also I've been teaching myself to create the habit of using it when I feel negative. Because, you know, before having this awareness, it's just like I would naturally resist and not even realize that's what I was doing. So I've had to like really put the effort in to create the habit of to stop resisting and just start allowing. Now, the last one, number 5, is attachment to materialism. There's nothing wrong with enjoying nice things, but if your happiness depends on it, it lowers your vibration. The more attached to material items, the harder it is to connect to your true self. And focusing on acquiring things or attaching your self-worth to possessions can take you away from spiritual growth and inner peace. And I noticed this for myself, even before I had a spiritual awakening. I noticed if I got a material item, let's say I got a new pair of shoes. I love shoes and sneakers. So let's say I got a new pair of shoes. I'd feel good. I would have positive emotions like, yeah, I got a cool pair of shoes. But I noticed that those positive emotions wore off pretty quick, and then it just became shoes. Whereas when I would go out and have experiences, like for example, I went skydiving, I went on a 16-night cruise, I've been to 3 Eminem concerts, and twice I was in the front of the mosh pit. It was amazing. When I have these sorts of experiences, it really made my soul feel fulfilled. I felt so high vibe and joyful. My soul just loved it and was thriving off of it. And I realized the feel-good emotions that I got from the experiences lasted a lot longer than the feel-good emotions that I got from material items. Even just talking about these experiences I had or just thinking about it puts me in a high vibe state. Like I still have those feel-good emotions. I still have those memories. It was awesome. Seeing Eminem right there on stage, like I was in the front of the mosh pit, was amazing. It really fulfilled my soul. So I encourage you to not be so materialistic, and if you are, question why. Because usually it's the ego that's wanting to kind of just show off to others. And to invest money into having more experiences and making more memories instead of having a flash TV in your house, for example. So those are my 5 habits that lowers your vibration. I hope you got value out of this video, and if you did, let me know by hitting the like button or write a comment. If you like this sort of content, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll leave a follow-up video here if you want to watch another one on raising vibration.